if I think about last year, it was all about trial and error. People were still apprehension, sort of figuring out what do they do with it. The question was more about what's going to happen next year, what are the regulators going to think. Fast forward to this year and getting into 2019, a lot of the proof of concepts have already taken place. Banks have started getting more comfortable with the concept of RegTech. They're partnering more with those RegTech. And I think that more importantly, the regulators are getting more comfortable with the idea of partnering with the banks and the fintechs as well, and the RegTechs as well.
I agree. I think there's a lot of innovation that's happening in the RegTech space. I think in response to what's happened in terms of investments made into fintech. So there needs to be a counterbalance, and what we're seeing actually in the RegTech space is leveraging more technologies like artificial intelligence. That's been a big topic here at Money 2020 again. And how do you start to adopt that further? You're starting to look at more broader concepts. As you start to go through the implementation, there's other implications that you need to look at it. You know, the ethics around how do you implement AI in a responsible manner. So we're seeing a lot of that. There's also aspects around AI where you're starting to look at the customer journey and the experience, leveraging things like chatbots. And as you start to do that in RegTech, you're going to start to see those same patterns that we're seeing leveraging those technologies in this field as well.
There's a lot that's happened in this year. We've seen a lot of big banks actually collaborate with the RegTech firms and not just have the POCs, but they've also taken an investment arm approach. So they've actually invested in these RegTechs to make sure that there's a viability of these RegTechs beyond just the proof of concepts that they have going on. There's certainly a lot of challenges. The biggest challenge I see is data. Especially, you might agree, with machine learning and artificial intelligence, a lot of these systems require good data, and we need to be careful how the data actually makes these machine learning applications work in the future. The other thing I'll talk about is skill. It's a huge challenge. Not all banks, especially in the RegTech space, have these skills that they can use to understand what these systems are actually doing for them. And the third challenge is all about vendor management. Some of these smaller firms don't really have an appreciation of what it takes to actually work with these big banks. And we are seeing that more and often, that the failure point is not really a good technology, but how much time it really takes for the banks to adopt these technologies going forward.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think if you look at the different technologies that we're seeing here at Money 2020, and it's, hitting on a lot of different areas, artificial intelligence, blockchain. I think one of the main questions out there right now is to the data point and making sure that you've got the right talent that understands all this technology. But also, I think another question that's out there that you hear about both on the, I would say on the fintech side, but also on the RegTech side, is this future of identity. I think that's going to be a big topic as we start to go forward. You're seeing a number of different innovative third parties out here trying to address that. You looked at companies that are addressing like the identity management, like companies like Jumio, that's out there doing things with facial recognition. But to Vishal's point, I think there's a lot of different areas, a lot of technologies that are out there, and how do you start to partner with them in the right ways to create something that new and effective in the marketplace. So there's a lot of challenges, but I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think a lot of times organizations look at more of the risk dimension of things, but I think you also need to look at the opportunities in this type of marketplace. And so one of the things that we're planning to do, and I'm working very closely with Vishal on this in our incubation sandboxes, is we're starting to accelerate use cases that are affecting these different types of areas where you can start to collaborate and bring a lot of these best of breed solutions together in a way that's effective. So, kind of picking the best companies out there that do one type of service or product, right? Bringing those together in one place and accelerating that. I think that's one of the areas that we're really trying to focus on this year. Yeah, so we're really optimistic about 2019 and the opportunities that are out there in the marketplace, working together with innovative third parties and creating some net new solutions that are going to go to market and actually move the needle for folks.
I think one area is AML, anti-money laundering, and the good thing about that is we have started looking at point solutions that vendors are offering, and we are threading it all together under the innovation angle. And I think that's really awesome, because now we can go to a bank or a community bank and tell them, not only are these vendors going to work wonders for you, but we actually have a solution mindset that we are bringing to the table. So we're definitely looking forward to that as well.